If you've ever felt stuck in your business, like something invisible is holding you back, you're not alone. I used to feel the same way until I learned the truth from an elephant. If you don't know who I am, my name is Remington Ramsey. I created a magazine called Real Producers. We now have a podcast. We interview top realtors across the country, entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, and we also shoot videos like this to help you with things that we've heard and learned along the way. In this video, I'm gonna share a mindset and a story about elephants that changed the way I think about business forever. Have you ever been to a circus and you're thinking to yourself, why on earth do these huge, magnificent animals not just run away? This is just a tent. Well, if you know the backstory, you understand why the elephants stay in place. This is gonna sound brutal, but this is the truth. When a baby elephant is very small, they will tie a chain around the leg of the elephant and tie the other side to a stake that they put in the ground. As that baby elephant is trying to get away, it struggles, and it cannot get away. So much so that it gets knocked over, it gets frustrated, and finally the baby elephant just decides to give up altogether. Now, as the baby elephant grows, it starts to feel the tension from that rope and decides that it's not going to try anymore. Until finally these elephants are 6,000-7,000 pounds and they still don't try to get away the second they feel the tension from that rope. Now, as sad as it sounds, humans deal with that on a regular basis. We experience it in our relationships, we experience it in our business, and like the elephant, we choose to believe that we are in bondage and that there's no options for us. And so sometimes we decide to do nothing about it. Now, the reason that the elephant doesn't break free or feels like it has no other options is because its belief is not rooted in truth. What is the truth of the matter? The truth of the matter is, if it wanted to, it could break free of those chains. And just like the elephant, you are most likely in a position where you can break free of the bondage. Limited beliefs happen when something happens in our past that makes us think that it's gonna happen over and over again. Like maybe you made a couple phone calls and one of them was really bad, specifically in your business. You made some phone calls, you had a bad call, they didn't like you, they don't like your product, and now all of a sudden, for the next 5 appointments, you think that that's gonna be the way it goes every single time. That's a limited belief. That is something that happened in the past that you think will continue happening in the future. Limiting beliefs also happen when you just don't have a good grasp on what the truth of the matter is. The what if scenarios. What if I run out of customers? Literally, this happened to me in my first business. I was 19, so give me a break. But I honestly believed when I woke up that morning, I thought to myself, I have met with everyone in the city of Indianapolis. There's no one left to sell products to. I would have these thoughts run through my head, these lies. And so it would impact how I approach phoning, how I approach my sales calls. What if the excitement wears off? What if no one shows up to the events? And these what if questions cause us to get into these negative headspaces. And when you're in a negative headspace, it causes you to treat your business and your relationships differently. When facing these limiting beliefs, I like to work backwards and list all of the reasons that my belief is rooted in truth. So I'll give you an example with the magazine. I heard print is dead. This is never gonna work. Realtors aren't gonna show up. They're not gonna care what the magazine has to say. This will never work. And so for me, before it was a brand, before it was a company, I had to work backwards and realize, why am I doing this? And so I would start with a question. Do realtors still sell homes? The answer is yes. Do vendors cater to realtors? Yes. Is there a need for vendors to be introduced to realtors? Yes. Then if those 3 things are true, I can always come back to the need for what I provide. Real Producers was created as a community to bring the top realtors to the vendors who cater to said realtors. And so in the times where I started having limiting beliefs, like, oh, I didn't make a sale on this last one, so I'm not gonna make a sale on these next couple. Oh, these realtors don't get it, so none of the realtors are gonna get it. I only had a handful of people show up to the event, so all my events are gonna be bad. Instead of doing that, I realized that breaking down the success of one, if I can do it 1 time, I can do it 10 times. If I can do it 10 times, I can do it 100 times. Ultimately, that's the kind of thinking that took me from having a limited belief to knowing this was going to work. This is the type of obstacle that causes us to label ourselves and others. I'm not good at this thing. I'm not lovable. I'm not a winner. I've been hurt by people. All people will hurt me, right? And that's a very scary place to be because honestly, there's going to be a lot of letdowns in life. But I choose to focus on the positive. I choose to look at what good can come from this. I love this quote by Mark Twain. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. I also love that Mark Twain uses the word ain't so much. What that is saying is when you are curious and you haven't made your mind up about something, you're in a much better headspace to allow truth to come in. When you know something to be true and you're dogmatic about it and you're not listening to anything else, that's what gets you into trouble because it's not true. But in your head, it's so real. Ask yourself, have I seen success in this before? And go back and look. Yes, I booked 20 appointments last week. Did you make any sales? Yes, I made a sale last Tuesday. And work backwards and go through every detail of how you got that sale. We do this all the time with our franchisees. If you're looking at specifically describing your last sale from how did I meet this person to all the way until signing the deal and having them be a part of your community, you can duplicate the behaviors of what got you there on that one. Now go back and do it with your last 5. If you can do it 1 time, you can do it 5 times. If you can do it 5 times, you can do it 50 times. And duplicate that behavior until you realize, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this. So the second question is, you ask, does this work? This is the proof around you. How many times has this worked? Let's look at all the clients that we have. Let's look at all the great experiences we've had. How did we get those great experiences? Who introduced us? Who was the referral? What do those conversations look like? And literally document it so that your headspace gets into a very positive, this is gonna work, versus a negative, this never works. If you do this enough times, you'll realize that most of your limiting beliefs are just mental chains that you need to break free from. The real you, that 6,000 pound absolute unit, is ready to break free. If this resonated with you, go ahead and like it, subscribe, and drop a comment of the one thing that you're dealing with right now that might be limiting your belief. Until next time, believe the truth, not your truth. You're stronger than you think.